No one wins when it comes to copyright. Remember when React tried to trademark or copyright reactions? Generic Control into that goose. We're back with some more Game Theory FNAF videos. Today we have the FNAF 7 Oopsie, Scott's problem with fan art, which apparently I think somebody described it in the comment section of last week's video, which you want to check that out. I'll leave it right up there. Also link down below in the description. Also get a playlist, but apparently it has something to do with copyright about fan art or something like that. Like, was copywriting fan art, or people were trying to copyright fan art for Five Nights at Freddy's stuff. I'm not really sure. It brings copyright into fan art in FNAF, and I'm not really sure how they'll mix together. Copyright laws are super busted. Also, it's 11:09 p.m. on Christmas Eve. I hope you're having a wonderful holiday season. Hope you had a great Christmas. I read every single comment. You can tell me how your Christmas went, what you got for Christmas, what you're gonna do for New Year's. Hope you're gonna be safe and enjoy New Year's. I'm trying to do 100 videos for the month of December, and I'm going to do that as long as nothing catastrophic happens. It's currently like 58 degrees in my room. Don't worry about that. Hope you're having a wonderful day, though. Hopefully I can make time a little better. I'll be live streaming today at 5 p.m. playing some of my Pokemon White Nuzlocke live on Twitch, and I'll also be streaming on Saturday. Probably go live a little bit before to make the final video go live at 5 p.m. for the 100th video, which is going to be awesome. Last week's video was fantastic. I love the format that he did. I wonder if we're going to have more of that here on out. I'm not really sure, but I'm excited to jump into this, so let's go ahead and get on into it. All right. Let's see. Is it gonna have him in like a green screen again? Like, have we taken that quality stuff?
We cover a lot of scary stuff on the show, but today is no clickbait, the scariest topic of all.
Copyright.
Copyright.
Yes.
With a little
because the laws are awful.
All my favorite topics in one episode. I love 2019.
2019? Oh, you think 2019's bad? Wait till you get to 2020. Yeah. Obama. PewDiePie. What? Is that PewDiePie?
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, where today, call me Gloria Borgia, because our top story is an oopsie. One big oopsie made by one big man. Actually, I don't know what his relative size is. He's just big in the gaming space.
Who?
That man's name is Scott Cawthon. Now,
you know what he looks like.
If you're not familiar with what happened, let me catch you up. Last episode, we analyzed a teaser image for Scott's new VR game, FNAF Help Wanted. What I didn't mention in that video, though, was that it was only online for just a couple of hours. In fact, by the time I had gotten to check out this thing, it had been wiped clean from the internet.
Why?
Only preserved thanks to some dedicated Redditors, specifically GB Aura Recharged. Now,
with the balloon boy.
No stranger to posting things only to rip them off the internet later.
I'll tell our friend about FNAF. She has no idea what it is. Never heard of it. Never seen it.
Version 1 of FNAF World, his contents of the infamous FNAF 4 box, yep, those got changed. Heck, even the script for his new movie was written,
which still hasn't come out yet,
and ready to shoot, and then he just threw it out. It's like, this
did he really?
Deserves better. But this time, it was different.
Why?
This time, it was because the team working on the VR game,
Steel Wool
had
Studios,
unintentionally used fan art. As he said on Reddit, quote, "My first teaser in more than half a year was made using questionable choices at best and traced fan models." He then went on 2 days later to clarify.
So they were
further,
just stealing somebody else's artwork.
Remember, the artwork that I teased for the game, which was actually a portion of the cover artwork, included characters that had used fan art and fan models as references. When I learned about that, I was obviously pretty upset and took down the teaser.
Yeah, considering you paid them for that job.
That he thought were mine. If anything, everyone who had one of their models referenced should pat themselves on the back, because their models looked like they were canon. I think it's a testament to the fan community that the fan models rival mine. Many of them looked identical, and some of them look better. So the TLD on this whole thing is that he
a lot of shoe customs, like Jordan 1,
recolored,
they do mock-ups, they look better than the actual ones.
Of characters that Scott Cawthon himself created that looked so close to the original creations that his own team couldn't tell him apart from the originals.
Yikes.
And this sparked a really interesting question in my head. Did Scott legally have to do this? These are his characters, after all. And the fan-made models were
I guess they would own it.
They probably wouldn't have been seen as any sort of transformative use. Now, obviously, he cares about this community a lot, and pulling the teaser was absolutely the correct decision from a goodwill standpoint, but what would the law say about this?
Copyright law is super busted. It's so bad.
God, it's bad. And interesting than you might think. To get there,
and you know I'm saying that?
Twisted copyright journey that'll show us why
Eleanor
Naughty
LLC
Dog
can take your Mustang.
Name, why
it's aimed at
your
Eleanor's
photographs
Facebook.
of the Eiffel Tower are probably illegal, and why everyone's in an uproar about Rule 34. Oh boy, welcome online. Copyright law.
Yeah, the Hollywood
Don't know
sign's
what's
trademarked, I think.
That's a terrible last line. Whoo boy, copyright law doesn't know
that background?
what's hitting it. Copyright law don't have an indicator. Just gonna segue over to the next
Didn't have a good segue.
Oh, and before we dive into this episode, you might have noticed that I actually released another video alongside this one today. In that upload, I specifically talk about this channel and a lot of our own personal issues that we've had with fan art in the past, as well as a way to protect yourself if you're a fan artist who's working online right now. It's actually a really important video for me, touching on a topic that I've stayed really quiet about for quite a long time.
What is this stance on
Before you go
that?
down into the comments and start laying into me for not being allowed to cover this issue because I supposedly stole fan art in the past, please go watch that video too. That's actually why it's a dual upload. I couldn't really decide which one made more sense to go first.
I'm sure somebody can recap
really
that in the comment
two
section.
complement each other. They comment off of each other. So just please watch both. It'll do me a favor. It'll save me a lot of grief when I read the comments in this. Save my self-esteem a lot of grief as well. Oh, the other disclaimer that I should mention at the beginning of this episode is that there's a lot of fan work out there that is transformative, that is not considered to be a copy of anyone else's work. This episode actually isn't about that. Today, we are purely focused on fan art that's intended to closely represent a character that already exists, and
like
all
trying to
the basic
fake it?
legal mumbo jumbo that's around
Like
that.
trying to be like, oh, leaked
We all on the same page?
cover art that I made
Great.
for likes and
Let's
clout.
get into it.
That's not okay. Pretending, you know.
Now,
I
Scott
don't
is
know.
far from the only game maker that's had a copyright oopsie when it comes to teasing a new game. Case in point, the original version of the trailer for
PlayStation. I
Uncharted
never
4
played
Thief's
it.
End was released containing a painting that took images from Assassin's Creed Black Flag's concept art. The one with the pirate. I gotta give credit where credit's due here, guys.
How did they even sneak that in?
Incredibly on brand. Stealing artwork to promote a game that has the word thief in the title. Very smart.
That's fair.
Very meta. Ubisoft wasn't appreciating that level of meta commentary, though, and Sony was quick to pull the video and replace the asset. Oopsies like this also aren't just limited to marketing materials and teasers either. Back in 2013, a graphic designer named Cameron Booth made a post announcing that he was effing furious with the fact that the game The Last of Us featured a map that he had made of the Boston Metro. First off, I'd like to point out that The Last of Us, just like Uncharted, is a Naughty Dog game. I guess we know what the naughty is referring to in their name.
Copyright.
But after what I assume was a swift apology and a fairly decent payoff, Cameron quickly dialed back his language in a later public post, saying, it seems as if matters will be resolved to everyone's satisfaction shortly.
He got paid.
Great, I'm so happy for you guys. Money truly heals all wounds. But this case already starts to reveal some weird nuances of the copyright world, because while the graphic designer who made the picture owns the copyright to his map and was absolutely in his right to complain about the improper usage, he actually doesn't have the copyright to the Boston Metro itself. Does that sound dumb? You bet it does. In fact, it is so dumb that it can't be anything other than real. Real
Donut Media did a video on the
subject to their own copyright. Just like one musician can't copy the song of another musician, so too an architect can't copy the building design created by another architect.
I don't know who that dude's
Things get even weirder, though, when you start thinking about what this means for pictures that people are taking in front of buildings. Those pictures technically are violating copyright, or at least they would be if it wasn't for this idea of freedom of panorama. You see, most countries have some law or general understanding in place that says you won't get sued if you decide to create an Instagram story showing yourself posing in front of some famous landmarks. Notice though that I said most countries.
Some are.
Most does not equal all. Case in point, France.
Lost in the World Cup.
Doesn't have freedom of panorama. As a result, technically speaking, you legally shouldn't be able to post photographs of the Eiffel Tower, but only the night photographs. You see, because the Eiffel Tower without lights was built in 1889, that one is old enough to have entered the public domain. But the lights that
go public
on
domain
were
is as long as Disney is
thereby making
them to keep it because of
an artistic work with
Steamboat Mickey or something,
making posting photos of it illegal. That means that anything you find in a regular Google Google image search under Eiffel Tower at night was probably taken by fearless outlaws who are flouting the law, throwing caution to the wind, and posting their tourist photos of the Eiffel Tower in the evening. Probably a bunch of developers at Naughty Dog being like, whatever, we don't care.
Pretty sure I've seen Lionel Messi post
We're Naughty Dog. We're dogs who are naughty. So what does the Eiffel Tower have to do with FNAF fan art? Well, obviously, people are taking photos of the Eiffel Tower and art getting thrown in le prison. I actually didn't learn the word for prison when I took French. And that's because these crazy laws don't matter for people who are only using the image for personal consumption. You put an image on your fridge or you slap it on the desk at your office, you're fine. But the second you publish that image, it becomes a different story. Just take a look at any stock image website like Getty Images, which is a business built on legally owning the rights to every image in their archive, and you'll notice that most of the images of the Eiffel Tower, even the ones with low light, don't feature the lights on the building turned on. And this is where things get tricky. As if they weren't overly complicated
He went
enough.
to
See, if you publish a piece of artwork that features a character like Mangle or Mario or Mewtwo or heck Elsa, and you don't own the copyright to that character, then publishing that fan work is technically a copyright violation. Which merits a huge question: what counts as publishing? Now, obviously, publishing includes things like putting it in a book that ends up in Barnes and Noble. Publishing actually has a much broader definition in the legal sense. Publishing in the broadest sense of the word just means causing something to become public or making it publicly known. That means that everything from printing up and handing out a bunch of flyers on the street to, you guessed it, posting it online is covered. It doesn't even matter if it's a non-commercial type of posting. Posting fan art non-commercially on your blog or a site like Tumblr or Instagram or Twitter all count as publishing that image. And if you're thinking to yourself, wow, that affects a lot of people.
It doesn't, but because nobody enforces it.
Absolutely right. Technically speaking, every
if they want to go through the legal
on
battle,
Tumblr and DeviantArt and Pinterest and Pixiv and their own independent blog, they are technically violating copyright every time they
tried to trademark or copyright
that's
reactions.
Not transformative enough to be considered fair use. I know that sounds unbelievable, and that every fan artist out there is lighting their torch and rummaging for their proverbial pitchfork to come after me right now. But first off, don't kill the messenger here, guys. Legally, this is the truth based on the lawyers that I've spoken with and the legal papers that we've read.
He's right,
Is the letter of the law.
Tom Scott
is obviously only half the story.
He has another really good video.
Prisons across the country aren't filled with Rainbow Dash fan artists and bendy modelers. Though it'd be pretty funny if they were. What are you in for? Killed a guy. You? I drew a pink pony very accurately. In actual practice, the situation favors fan artists a lot more than you might first think. As you can see pretty much everywhere on the internet, it's really rare for copyright holders to try and enforce their copyright.
Well, it just is it worth it?
Where you see this actually happen tend to be when a brand feels that the art that's made
their
really
image.
Misrepresents their IP. One really convenient example of this in the gaming world is Blizzard, who issued DMCA takedowns across a bunch of different fan art in efforts to stop people from making
Rule 34. People made Rule 34 of me.
How do I put this nicely?
It's a thing.
Renditions of Overwatch characters in compromising situations, loving each other just a bit too much for their liking. For those of you who have the foreign tongue, images of their characters in flagrante delicto, in the carnal
embrace tranquility.
Basically, Blizzard wanted people to skip from Rule 33 to Rule 35 in the Internet Handbook. If you catch my drift.
What is Rule 33 and 35?
You can imagine just how effective Blizzard was at accomplishing that goal. Not that I would know personally.
They're not. They're not.
For a friend. Anyway, according to the guidelines from Blizzard's policy on fan-made creations, they cracked down in order to, quote, maintain and protect the image of their games. They also said Blizzard requires that productions maintain the T rating that has been given to its products by the ESRB.
I can
see
that,
right? It makes sense. Well, it might have been kind of a futile effort
bad publicity,
to remove
good publicity. What's the difference?
From the internet, legally speaking,
I understand this.
Entirely within their legal right to protect their brand. But speaking of legal rights, it is a two-way street. Even though a company owns the rights to its characters, You, as the fan artist, own the right to your individual piece of fan art. So going all the way back to our example of FNAF fan art,
he's giving credit, which doesn't clear copyright, by the way. Everybody thinks you give credit, you don't have to do copyright.
What are the actual
It doesn't
rights
work
for
like
that
that.
image? Well, Scott owns the copyright to the character, but you own the copyright to that specific image. So you can't publish it, you don't own the rights to the character, but Scott also can't publish that image because he doesn't have the rights to your artwork. You are both caught. As it turns out, no one
wins.
Really has the rights to
No
publish
one
that
wins
image.
when it comes to
Unless,
copyright.
of course,
No
you
one.
both agree to it, but good luck there. Scott doesn't talk to anyone.
Hey, Scott.
Except for Doggo.
Yeah, he just talks to Doggo.
Probably a secret son. I don't know. He talks to Doggo like all the time.
Yeah,
Now,
I've heard about that.
What would have happened if
that's
Scott
painful.
hadn't owned up to his oopsie and this situation had actually escalated? What could the fan artist who created those character
Ask
models
for
have done?
royalties?
Turns out a very similar issue has come up and was settled in a fairly famous case with the iconic Obama Hope image from that election. The artist of the famous Obama image, Shepard Fairey, who is actually one of my favorite street artists, created the
I've never heard of
artwork,
him.
but he copied the image from a photograph of Obama that he, quote, found on the internet. But it was owned by an independent photographer from the Associated Press. In court, the ruling was that the Hope artwork infringed on the copyright of the original photograph. The original owner of the photograph now participates in all money that's earned by the rights to that image. This is also the one case where I'll actually mention fair use, because Shepard Fairey actually tried to make the argument that his work here was transformative.
Yeah, it's not the same picture.
The court didn't buy it. In fact, he almost went to jail for it. The upshot of this whole thing is that, in theory, if a legal fight like this one would have happened in Scott's case, it could have very easily landed both parties in court, and it would have actually been pretty hard for Scott to win. Luckily, none of that happened. And I think a lot of that is because Scott holds himself to a higher standard and wouldn't have wanted to do a disservice to his fans.
That's fair.
As he said in his apology, quote, "The only thing I care about is doing right by this community."
What's in the box?
You, man. But there is another compelling reason for Scott to take that teaser down. Money. You see, the other big complicating factor in all of this isn't whether someone is really infringing on their copyright, but whether they're actually making money while doing the infringing. In the United States, criminal copyright laws prohibit you from actually using someone else's intellectual property for your own financial gain. This means that when you post your fan art online, you're not going to face any criminal liability. Fan artists, you are good to go. Sketchy nerd t-shirt companies that are selling unlicensed Nintendo merch, though, you might not be so safe.
Stop!
Yeah, it's
you
a problem.
violated the law. Pay the court a fine or serve your sentence.
Likewise, if you're selling your own posters of your fan art images, well, that could land you in some
that's
legal
the gray
hot
water
as well. And
That's
I know
gray
that
area.
this is the most sensitive subject around fan art because of all the commission that artists earn by doing fan art made to order for other members of their fan communities. I'm
Commissions?
not condemning anyone. I'm not passing any sort of judgment on anyone else's online business. As someone who uses a lot of online images of other people's IP,
But
I'm
it's
kind of digging my
transformative,
own grave
maybe.
here as well. This whole
Copyright.
topic just makes me uncomfortable, especially since that's still not the end of this whole story. There's still only a select couple of ways that you could actually be sued, even if you did commercialize your fan art. The company would need to show in court that your art had damaged their company in some way, using the naughty Overwatch picture example again, if I can. If Blizzard took the fan artists to court,
imagine showing that in
to
court.
prove that somehow this adult-only content had damaged their brand
Somehow.
in some way. In their
Instead
case,
of being
Blizzard
good or
is
bad
trying to
publicity,
market
being
their
good
game
publicity.
Overwatch as a family-friendly experience for all players.
The internet's not a
13 and
family-friendly
over.
experience.
And so the brand may actually get hurt if the first thing that comes up when mom starts Googling Orisa is a bunch of this very family unfriendly images. How much, though? It's actually hard to tell. Well, it seems like they would actually have a good case. It's still really hard to quantify how much their brand would get hurt by stuff like this, which is blurry behind me. For your safety, I swear.
Your safety is my primary concern.
And that's
I still haven't played
a pretty
Overwatch 2.
clear-cut case here. In most instances, fan art doesn't compete with the official images from the game. So what does all of this mean
not
for
as good.
you, the fan artist?
Sometimes it can give people jobs.
It means that you probably don't have to worry about getting sued. And even if you are getting close to getting sued, you're probably going to know that you're doing doing something wrong long before anything
Yeah,
happens.
before it gets to that
like
envelope.
in 2015, the Pokemon Company went after a cafe that ran a Pokemon party unofficially at PAX that promoted itself using Pikachu posters and charged an entry fee.
How is that worth it in court
In another
fees?
case, a woman was threatened legal action from 20th Century Fox because she was selling a Firefly-themed hat on her Etsy store.
Okay.
So, long story short, just don't charge admission to your next
It's called a cease
Pokemon-themed
and
birthday
desist.
party and leave the Firefly apparel for Hot Topic. But to bring it all the way back around to FNAF one
they do it in
last
shoes
time,
all the time,
Scott
too.
doesn't stand to gain a whole lot by suing his
Like
fans over their
knockoff Dunks
creations.
and Jordan
He does
1s
stand to lose a whole lot if he uses a fan-made model in the box art for a VR game that is for profit and could potentially make millions of dollars.
Yeah,
see,
he
if
just
he kept
opened it up
those
for royalty.
fan models in his box art, it would, in theory, open him up to a much bigger legal problem where he might have to pay thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars in royalties.
It all depends on how much
simply for
those images are
using
worth to them.
those two pieces of artwork. So Scott's decision to take down the teaser image was certainly the right thing to do from a moral perspective, but it's also the correct thing to do from a business perspective. I mean, don't get me wrong, Scott is all about giving back to the FNAF community, but maybe he's not interested in giving that much back. But hey,
that's fair. That's completely fair.
Just a theory, and certainly not
copyright
legal
laws.
advice.
I believe the video
your
Donut Media did was the
legal disclaimer that I am not a lawyer.
Why copyright law
shut
shut down the internet's favorite car build.
And if you get yourself into hot water for making your
Is B's
distributing
for
fan
building
art,
their Eleanor project.
you can use this video as an interesting talking piece with your legal counsel, but don't assume that I, Matt Pat, will be standing up for you in court as your legal defense. Here, watch this YouTube video about FNAF fan art. No, it's not really gonna work. Okay? Okay. Keep farting it up out there, guys. And remember that
this is an interesting video. Not so really theory, but more so talks about, you know, Thought's position on, you know, using fan art and stuff like that, and the level that he holds himself to. But you can obviously tell with these games, you know, it really, the reason why I can, like, because this was like Scott's last, like, Five Nights at Freddy's was Scott's final attempt at making a video game, because before your final attempt, you already give up. Okay, he already reached a point where he gave up making video games. So for him to be at that point where this is the last one, he had already given up. Said that after that it was dead. You already gave up before you reached that point. He still made the game. It found crazy success, and that's why he put out so many games so fast, because he wanted it to happen. He didn't want the feeling of failure to come back, because he found success, and success is addicting, and he didn't want to let it go. So that's why that's why he works as hard as he does. That's why he does all the stuff that he does, and that's why he's so passionate about Five Nights at Freddy's, because he reached a point where he gave up, and then he found success, and he doesn't want to go back to that, and it's terrifying. So it's awesome. I love that Scott holds himself to that level. Like I said, copyright laws are completely busted. Like I said, I'm pretty sure the public domain, or whatever the age thing is, it all comes down to Disney and how much they're, I guess, lobbying or whatever with the government for how, like, to extend the age that something has to be before it can be in the public domain, because I believe it goes down to Steamboat Mickey, and they don't want, I guess, I don't think it's Steamboat Mickey's actual name, but, you know, it's the Mickey Mouse on the steamboat. It's like the very first thing Disney ever did. They don't want that to fall into the public domain. So, like I said, Donut Media did a great video talking about that. I talked about the Eleanor thing, which apparently Shelby just won a legal dispute with somebody saying that they can make Eleanor themed Mustangs. So that might actually be changed. Copyright laws might be changing. Every big YouTuber out there has a reaction channel. Go on TikTok, Instagram, everything. YouTube shorts are all just, you know, recorded YouTube videos and recorded TikToks and Family Guy clips and everything just posted, or screen recorded TikToks just posted on YouTube shorts. No changing, no anything, literally just a screenshot or just a screen recording put over here. That is just straight up stealing content. That is just outrageous. And people do that for, like, Family Guy and, like, actual things, and people just live stream movies and stuff, and Twitch streamers that watch like cooking shows and stuff like that. I remember that was a big thing. But copyright law is an absolute mess. I think I think the world is kind of evolving. I think things have become more lenient, as pretty much every single YouTuber has a reaction channel at this point. every major YouTuber. PewDiePie is pretty much a reaction channel at this point, except he reacts to just like Reddit content, which can also get you in trouble with YouTube, because if it shows a car accident, you can get a community guideline strike violation, which I got for, I think, a Try Not to Laugh video. You get the Sidemen have a reaction channel, Mr. Beast has a reaction channel. Everybody has a reaction channel. But so hopefully in the future things will change. It's copyright. As a reaction channel myself, I know it's a really weird gray area, and it's really, really weird. I'm just trying to make you smile. I do 100 videos in the month of December, so I can hopefully make your day a tiny little better, and I can learn some more about FNAF with you, and you can relive some nostalgia with me through videos that you saw for the very first time, or games that you've played, so you can see how I react to it, because apparently the way I react to things is funny, because this is all genuine. But I read all your comments as well, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. But until the next video, take care, and cue the music.
We were playing